Hello, church family. It's Wednesday, and it's time for another Wednesday Minister Moment. You know, when I get on social media, and a lot of the stuff that I read is really frustrating because people complain. They complain about other people. They complain about situations that they're in. They complain about what's going on in our world, or maybe with our government, or with the COVID-19, or whatever. There's all these complaints that are out there, and it becomes very, very frustrating to me. I watch the news, and while I know they're reporting news, a lot of it seems to be complaining. Complaining about our leaders, or complaining about something this person has said, or complaining about this situation. And it doesn't really offer a lot as far as instructing or how to make things different. It's just complaining. I mean, sometimes even complaining from people at church. Like, there have been times when people have complained about the air conditioning, or they've complained that it was too hot or too cold, or it was not comfortable enough, or the song service wasn't what they wanted, or maybe a prayer was too long, or they didn't like what Mitch said, or they were just complaining so much, and kind of like I'm complaining right now. I guess I'm complaining too, aren't I? I mean, you can't even get a minister moment without the minister complaining. What is up with that? You know, there's a passage that this reminds me of. And it reminds me, and just, I want to just say this, that this idea of complaining is not a new thing. Even in the Old Testament, when in Exodus, when Moses was leading the children of Israel out of bondage, out of slavery, into the wilderness, so they go to the promised land, the people continued to complain over and over and over again. Things just didn't seem to be good enough for them. And Moses would get frustrated with that. God would get frustrated with that. And all of this reminds me, as I said, of a passage in Philippians. It's Philippians chapter 2, verses 14 and 15. Paul wrote these words. He says, do everything without complaining or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God, without fault in a crooked and depraved generation, in which you shine like stars in the universe. And what Paul is saying is, don't complain and argue. We're different. I mean, if we really want to be pure and blameless before God, if we want to be His children in this crooked and depraved generation, Paul saw his generation as crooked and depraved. That's kind of how we see ours, in a sense, too, because of everything that seems to go on. Then if we really want to be something different, we need to shine like stars in the universe. Paul is saying we need to be different. You know, the thing about complaining is that it robs us of our peace, it robs us of our hope, and it sets us up to where we think that in order for things to change, somebody else has got to fix it for me, rather than me fixing myself. It makes it really easy for me to look at other people's problems and not look at my own, or how I contribute to it. But when Paul tells us to stop complaining and arguing, but to be lights, that means we're going to have to be different. Because the one that we're following is Jesus. And when you take into consideration how Jesus dealt with things, He didn't do a lot of complaining and arguing. He was humble before others. He was someone who made a difference. He provided peace and He provided hope, and He helped people to see how they could change. And that's what we should be doing if we're going to follow Him. So rather than complaining about others, what if we help others to know that peace? Rather than complaining about situations, what if we help people to see that there's hope? What if we help people to know that things can change, but it begins with our relationship with Christ? Can we be lights that shine in such a way to help people to see Him more clearly? So that our focus isn't on the negative and the complaining, but on the one who gives us peace, who gives us hope, and who helps us change. My encouragement to you is to shine like stars in this crooked and depraved generation. To focus on Jesus and be difference makers as you help people to know that they too can have peace, hope, and that they can change so that things can be better. I hope this is an encouragement to you, and I hope you have a great day.